It's an audio drama that debuted at #1 on the Fiction podcast on Apple, and it takes you into Cielo's world in the American Afterlife podcast. We spoke with people closely involved with the show, so take a look. Joining me now, our director and executive producer of American Afterlife, William Stuart, along with Scarlett Estevez, lead actress and voice of Cielo. Good morning, you guys. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Great to be here.
Hey, good morning.
Well, I'm excited to chat with you both and learn more about this incredible audio drama. So let's just start with this. Can you provide the premise of the podcast and what exactly American Afterlife is?
Sure, be glad to do that. So, American Afterlife is based on a book by Pedro Hofmeister, and it tells the story of a young girl, a young illegal immigrant living up in Eugene and Oregon. And she survives the big earthquake for the Pacific Northwest that everyone is predicting will come pretty soon, which is frightening in itself. While many people are trying to evacuate and get out of the area, Cielo decides to stay there and search for her mother, who she's been separated from. So it's sort of a post-apocalyptic drama. I guess we could liken it to The Last of Us, where she's all on her own and trying to find safety.
Yeah. So to follow up from that, as you mentioned, the podcast is adapted from a best-selling young adult novel trilogy. So what was that process like, and how did you go about basing it off this series? Like, how did you know this is something that we're going to try out?
Well, I mean, as you know, I'm basically a movie producer, and it's gotten more difficult in Hollywood to make movies when you're an independent producer. So still like to do this work and decided to find another venue. I've done some documentaries now recently, but this material just really stuck with me. And I had a chance meeting with Dave Deans, who runs Benstown Radio. And we thought, could we do something like a movie for radio? And we started developing the idea. We got script writers to write it, people who normally write films, and put together a crew, starting with a casting crew, starting with Cielo, and just went into the studio and did it.
How would you say your experience directing something like this, an audio drama, differs from what you've done before? Because like you said, you've worked on a lot of really successful TV and film type things, and this is obviously a lot different avenue.
I think for all of us, it was in a way. Scarlett probably had the most experience doing voiceover and animation. But for me, it was sort of getting us in the studio, immersing ourselves in the idea, and then just treating it as if we were shooting a movie. We did various takes. We rewrote as we went, depending on how the character of Cielo developed and comments from Scarlett. But the interesting thing was we did it without a soundtrack and without a soundscape, as they're calling it. So it was a challenge, but I think we came through it pretty well.
Yeah. Scarlett, for you, what was it like tapping into Cielo and kind of really portraying that intense emotion that's required for this role?
Yeah, I mean, it was super cool because I've definitely been like, now that I started acting when I was really little and now I'm like 18. So I've been trying to like find roles that like fit that transition that are like challenging me and, different from things that I've done before. So yeah, it was super cool to get the opportunity and Bill helped so much to just kind of like play around with it and really find her and, tune in on like the smallest details. But yeah, it was so cool and challenging, but really fun.
Yeah. How do you feel like for you it differs recording an audio drama versus, preparing for an acting role in a TV show or film more like what you're used to?
Yeah, it was cool because like, I mean, well, first of all, I didn't really have to get camera ready, which was nice. Sometimes I get show.
Showed up in her pajamas, I think.
Yeah, I showed up in my pajamas. That was nice. But then I always say like the best way to describe it is it was kind of like ADR because like I've done voiceover before, but that's usually for like animated things that are like totally very different. So yeah, it was really interesting because it was so dramatic. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, no
It's
camera.
it's really fascinating to me how much depth there is to the story, right? It's obviously very dramatized, but there's a lot of like really real world components as well. And so, what's something maybe that you have taken on from Cielo that you are gonna like carry in your own life? Because I feel like she's overcoming a lot, she's facing a lot of adversity, but she's really brave and courageous as well.
Yeah, yeah, she's very brave and she's super like she stands up for herself and she's just so yeah, she's very brave, and I don't think that am very brave. So that
Mm.
was really cool to just kind of like see how she like would deal with conflict and like when she was in hard situations, how she would just kind of like push through and just be like, I know where I need to go, and I know that this is how I need to get there. So I'm just gonna keep going. And so yeah, that was really cool to just kind of be like, wow,
It was
yeah.
very interesting because, as you can see, Scarlett is a sweet young girl. But when she got into the script, into the dialogue, I mean, everyone was afraid of her.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I think that just shows how great of a job you were doing then with taking on this role, right? Now, I think it's really interesting because, the last 2 years, I feel like we've almost entered into this resurgence of reading becoming popular and normal and trendy, which is kind of funny to even say out loud, but especially within the fictional space, right? And so I think it's cool that you guys are now tapping into this fictional podcast, which is also growing. So, why do you feel that fictional podcasts are becoming important for developing original stories?
Well, I think, from my point of view, is you went from books, I would say, to without getting visual, into audiobooks. And audiobooks are fine, but they don't convey the emotion or deliver the soundscape, as we call it, that these podcasts do.
Hmm.
And podcasts are generally, we made a conscious decision to keep it like about 20, 22 minutes because that's when people are driving from one place to another or just having a cup of coffee and don't have anything to do. They could still piece them together, but the attention span has shortened in our lives and it still delivers an impact. A lot of our listeners have come back and said, I was going to listen to one and I listened to three or four. So
Hmm.
that's a sign that I think we did something right.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's really cool. And again, it shows that people are interested in what you're doing. I am curious though, building an audience for any kind of medium that you're consuming these days, I think is tough, right? And I think TV and film have kind of found a loophole within social media to really help build that up. But what challenges do you feel like are presented within building an audience for an audio drama and maybe even specifically this project?
Um, well, the two things we had to consider is one, we're starting from scratch. And I don't think there are podcasts, dramatic podcasts out there, but I don't think they put in again the attention I tried to get into it, so it sounded more like a movie.
Mm,
But thinking about how to get it out there, again, Dave Deans and his company Benstown are very uh, experienced with that, and we pulled in a lot of favors, which you have to do on things of this size and small budget. And social media did play a big role in it. Scarlett has, I don't know what, 4 or 5 million followers now. So that helped a great deal. But we also did a campaign that was aimed at the audience we think would be there and the movie audience in a way.
mm.
So if you look at some of the stuff we did on Instagram or TikTok, some people said they thought it was a movie already, or a TV series, I should say,
Mm.
which is our next aim.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Where can people listen to American Afterlife and keep up with everything that you guys are doing?
Everywhere. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, I don't know. We're starting to get some listeners from overseas. Blake, I'll give you one more bonus, is we just started developing the second series.
You can listen on all podcast streaming platforms, plus visit AmericanAfterlife.com and follow them on social media at American Afterlife.